we celebrate you. Governor Ben Ayade, we celebrate you for your victory. Oh, now you be our choice. Now you be crossing our choice, yo. We dey pray for you. Make God give you the strength. Make you carry cross river to the top. My people they cry for change, but we need to do what is right for the change to come. Oh, so we need to join hands together to support Ben Ayade government.
It was the English poet and dramatist William Shakespeare who wrote, "Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them." Indeed, His Excellency Senator Professor Benedict Benyoshia Ayade neither had the opportunity of being born great nor of greatness being thrust upon him. His was a life of struggle, of grit, and an all-conquering spirit to overcome all odds to achieving greatness. Born on the 2nd of March 1969 to peasant parents in Kakum, Obudu local government area, Ben Ayade is the 7th of 9 children between his mother and father. His father was the late Pa Peter Akinsheye Ayade of Kakum village in Obudu local government area, while his mother was Mrs. Beatrice Ngai Ne Ikashi Idoku of Abonkib village, also in Obudu local government area. Ben Ayade's growing years were characterized by severe lack, as his parents were not in any way wealthy. This much is confirmed by Mr. Oga Placidus Oga, elder brother of Senator Ben Ayade.
This guy really passed through hell, including the entire family, because my mother traded on petty goods. I was lucky I picked a job as a clerical assistant with water board. That enabled me pay this boy's school fee up to class 5. By the time he came up, the father died first. As luck would have it, the father owned the car before he died. That's the much he has done for the father.
At one instance, Professor Ayade, in response to his schoolmates' jest over his ownership of a bicycle, assured them that when he grows up, he will have a fleet of cars. Despite the poverty in the family, Ben was highly intelligent. Indeed, he was so intelligent that he was always top of his class, to the pride of his guardian and elder brother, Opla.
In his first year in class 1, first term in class 1, he came second. And I called him. I said, if you work harder, you'll top the class. Go top the class, I'll give you a present. He went down and worked very hard. He started topping the class from that moment. At a point, some of his classmates will testify this. When he brought the result, I bought him a sport bicycle. He uses that to school. And he was telling his classmates, don't you think I'll be a rich man tomorrow? If now I'm riding a bicycle in secondary school, I shall have a fleet of cars. And of course, this has come to pass.
His grades at primary school were so excellent that when he finished at the St. Stephen's Primary School, his name remained and still remains a reference point and a landmark till date with flying colors. The headmaster of St. Stephen's Primary School, Obudu, Chief Julius Jude Akwagyoba, had this to say.
Ayade actually schooled here and finished here in the late 70s. And he made very good record in this school. And if you look at his university records, you know that he had done it because he was given a proper foundation.
At the government secondary school Obudu, where he undertook the secondary education, Professor Ayade was a child prodigy and excelled in both academics and extracurricular activities. His classmate and friend, Mr. Michael Okaba, aka Apushu, describes him as a highly intelligent child in school days.
Prof was certainly very, very intelligent right from the beginning. Even in the class there, we knew him to be a very brilliant person, performing in all the subjects. He was not lacking in any area. Very humble and very gentle in behavior. In fact, all the tutors loved him.
This photograph, taken in class 1, shows Professor Ayade, 6th from the left, arrowed on the second row amongst his classmates. One of them is the former Secretary to the State Government, Barrister Mike Anya. Another picture of Professor Ayade in his school days is remarkable. The story is that he was in class 4A but sneaked into class 4C to appear in this group photograph. So all members of the class were given a copy of the photograph except Ben. His classmate recalls that in his school days, poverty remained a constant challenge, and several times he was sent out of school due to non-payment of fees.
I had some challenges in class, and the challenges were purely financial. And sometimes he had to be sent out of class because of no school fee. But he was very, very brilliant.
Even when he merited a scholarship, the demand for a bribe of a live goat stood between him and the scholarship.
There was this provision to give people scholarship. And we applied for one in secondary school. But they demanded for a goat, I hadn't it. So this scholarship was given to some other person who was lower in grade than him because he could provide a goat.
Nevertheless, the never-say-die spirit of Ben Ayade saw him conquering the challenges at his secondary school to emerge as the best graduating student in 1984, a record which has remained unbroken till date.
Professor Ben Ayade schooled in Government Secondary School of Obudu as a young boy, and he performed excellently well in 1984 when he got his certificate, I think Division 1 distinction. And since then, he left. He's been performing well in other areas too.
One of his former teachers, Mr. Emmanuel Aweye, remembers Professor Ayade as a very intelligent and attentive student who always came out top of his class.
Senator Professor Ben Ayade was my student in Government Secondary School in class 1. I taught him Bible knowledge, and I know him as a very brilliant, quiet, gentle, cool-headed young man then. He was brilliant, as I said. He used to come first in my subject. When I teach, before I leave the class, he will ask me some sensitive questions. I'm not surprised at all that he's where he is today because he started it early.
Professor Ayade had no difficulty in securing admission to university as soon as he completed his secondary school studies. And so in 1984, he secured admission to the prestigious University of Ibadan, where he graduated with BSc Honors, First Class Division in Microbiology in 1988. He later obtained a master's at the same university between 1989 and 1990 and a PhD in Environmental Microbiology 1990 to 1994. His other academic qualifications are MBA, Masters in Business Administration, obtained from the Ambrose Ali University, Ekboma, and LLB from Delta State University, Abraka, as well as a BL from the Nigerian Law School. Even during his university days, he still had to overcome the specter of poverty. This is confirmed by his elder brother, Oga Placidus.
at a point where I thought we were finished, he kept encouraging me, Opla, don't bother. When things come well, you see it. That those who are laughing at us will pass through you to see me. These are his ways. Back in school, how he managed through his thesis, I was assisting with the little I had. But the rest, I don't know how he maneuvered there in the university. But he had a lot of challenges. Sometimes he comes home, as luck would have it, we have the same height, right from time, the same size of shoes. When he comes, he picks from me. He had never bought new clothes that he called his.
An egregious man, academic and researcher, his outstanding work in global warming in Africa earned him an award by the Japanese government and other international organizations. He was also the best doctorate research candidate at the University of Ibadan in 1994. For Senator Ayade, life is of no essence except it be for service to mankind. Thus, having taught at the University of Ibadan, Abraka and Ekboma, he sought financial independence by embarking on business to fortify his philanthropic activities. He therefore set up consultancies and business concerns which have been performing well, employing thousands. His philanthropic gestures are motivated by his early life of deprivation, which according to him, his vendetta is to make in abundance what he was deprived of.
Nobody have done this before, and we think that this will not only end here, it is going to spur him to work harder. So our people are very happy. They are expressing their sincere appreciation that what he has done here, they are happy. And that this message that is that wherever he is planning to go, for any position, they are ready to support him.
I can recall one of the afternoons he closed from school. We had no food in the house. He was sipping gari by the corridor. There were passerbys. He now beckoned on some of them to come and join him eat rice. I asked him, are you eating rice in case they come in? He said, Opla, don't bother. One day I'll supply people food. And today I see him doing that.
However, Professor Ayade was not fulfilled in just doling out food and charity to the less privileged. He offered to serve the people by going into politics. At first attempt, he won as senator representing the Northern Senatorial District under the People's Democratic Party (PDP), replacing a political heavyweight in the zone. His tenure at the Senate has been remarkable. From his election in 2011 up till 2015, even though he was a first-time senator, he made a huge mark. Senator Ayade is reported to have initiated the second highest number of bills at the Senate, which at the last count stood at 18. He has also been Vice Chairman Senate Committee on Environment and Ecology, as well as member of several other committees. Senator Ayade responded to the needs of his people practically. For instance, he has been sponsoring teams of medical doctors from overseas to come and provide free medical services to his constituents. And to resolve the public transportation problem of his constituents, he launched the Ayade Motors Company, which 30-seater buses have made travel to the Northern Senatorial District from Calabar affordable, safe, and comfortable.
The mobility has actually helped us, those of us living in the northern part of Cross River. It has eased our transportation.
Looking at the amount we have paid, it has cut down drastically, different from other transport companies.
At least if you want to travel to Calabar with this small money, you go. But before, it was not an easy. Why did I choose to come and follow Ayade? Because of the transport fare. It's helping the poor people. Not everybody is financial okay. Some of us were handicapped, financial handicap. You cannot do anything. Things is not moving right in this Nigeria. In general, those that are coming in, let them change, have a change.
He has also awarded scholarships to students to study within the country and overseas. And the scholarships cover secondary to tertiary levels as far as Romania, the Ukraine, and other countries. A grassroots man, a populist, and a mobilizer, Senator Ayade believes that politics ought to have morality. His slogan, "Politics with Ethics," has shaped his political pursuits and campaigns. No wonder he was spotted by His Excellency Senator Lieli Moke as a befitting successor.
A professor, a lawyer, a businessman, an environmentalist.
Have to have enough before you give, but if you care enough, you give out the little you have. It is in that spirit that I come before you today again and offer myself to serve you at that celestial level, at that level of purity and dexterity and character and utility and value. Liquor will be banished from this place. Itu ime, kinye kime, agogoye ame, kimbabing babing babing babing.
This much was demonstrated during the PDP primaries. At the beginning, not many saw him as a top contender, but he went about quietly consulting and negotiating even with opponents. At the end, with no rancor and bitterness, Ben Ayade emerged as PDP gubernatorial candidate at the Ijue Sports Stadium, where the serious contenders openly stepped down for him. The two remaining contenders were easily defeated by wide margins. The electioneering campaign was even a better ground for demonstrating his philosophy of politics with ethics. He traveled through all the wards and all the local government areas, canvassing for support and assuring the electorate that he is fit to undertake the job of governor of Cross River State. And all these he did, casting no aspersions on anybody, neither did he berate any. At Bakassi, Akbabuyo, and the entire southern senatorial district, he had the same message that Cross River State shall be turned to a state of opportunity.
God willing, as an incoming governor, I am going to create a housing estate you have never seen. We are going to set up a construction and fabrication academy right here in Bakassi.
The same for the central and northern senatorial districts, where he spotted agriculture and industrialization as catalysts for the new economic growth.
We are going to bring in new energy. We are going to bring vibrance. We are going to bring in a lot. In all of that, we must calibrate them, accentuate them within the confinities of what we have agreed.
At Kakum, his hometown, Senator Ayade and his wife, Linda, while speaking to Oscar Ofuka on the election, were updates.
All I'm going to say is let them vote their conscience based on the antecedents, experience, capacity of the various candidates that will come before them, and that God will guide them appropriately.
It's well organized, there's peace, and we'll win the race.
It was therefore not surprising that His Excellency Senator Professor Ben Ayade, barrister at law, emerged victorious at the April 11, 2015 general elections, which he won resoundingly.